any kind of technology can be weaponized by desperate and evil men. And that's what happens in our world. So the question is not how good something is, it's who's going to use it.
This is a dire situation. And so so essentially what's happening is they're training the AI to lie.
Yes, I love AI, but right now I'm worried. One of the things that I'm worried about is misinformation. These tools are so good at making convincing narratives about just about anything. The information that they make is so fluid and so grammatical that even professional editors sometimes get sucked in and get fooled by this stuff.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful. But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. Once humans develop artificial intelligence, it would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate. Humans, who are limited by slow biological evolution, couldn't compete and would be superseded.
We live in a day and age where technological advancements dominate almost every aspect of our lives. One of the most impressive and perhaps powerful technological breakthroughs that we have seen in recent years is artificial intelligence, or simply AI.
Artificial intelligence. What does that really mean? Nobody asked. So we stay with the simplistic view. But artificial actually means man-made. So when you're talking about artificial intelligence, you're talking about intelligence made by man. And so what you do is you hype intelligence by man, and you say, now, it's not just intelligence made by man, it is intelligence made by man as opposed to natural or divine intelligence. As opposed. You have to understand that.
How did AI come to be? Who were the people that first dreamed that computers could think for themselves? Who are the pioneers of AI?
In 1956, Dartmouth College held the Summer AI Conference. A group of scientists had created an AI proof of concept called the Logic Theorist. The program was designed to mimic the problem-solving skills of a human and is often called the first AI program in history. The Dartmouth Conference was hosted by John McCarthy and Marvin Minsky and had a clear goal: show the world that AI was the future. The conference brought together top researchers from various fields and actually marked the first usage of the term artificial intelligence. The first chatbot was developed at MIT in 1965. The program was called ELIZA and would carry on a conversation in English on any topic. General Motors also began using an industrial robot called Unimate on their automobile assembly line. These successes convinced the US government to fund more AI research at leading institutions. AI was beginning to outperform humans in all manner of activities, and it was clear that researchers needed to think very carefully about how these systems were designed.
Is there anything about this that makes you nervous?
In the very long run, yes. I mean, obviously, having other super intelligent beings who are more intelligent than us is something to be nervous about. It's not going to happen for a long time, but it is something to be nervous about in the long run.
This is why we want to understand that we're in the last days, and what Satan has been trying to do is to get in ahead because the time is short and get these things happening now and create these institutions of deception, because they will be required. So the platforms of deception are already being created. For example, what's happening with the artificial intelligence today?
The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads. Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
The man widely seen as the godfather of artificial intelligence has quit his job at Google, warning of the dangers of AI. Dr. Geoffrey Hinton's pioneering research on deep learning and neural networks has paved the way for current AI systems like ChatGPT. But in a lengthy interview with the New York Times, Dr. Hinton said he now regretted his work and is worried that AI technology will flood the internet with misinformation.
The kind of intelligence we're developing is very different from the intelligence we have. We're biological systems, and these are digital systems. And the big difference is that with digital systems, you have many copies of the same set of weights, the same model of the world. And all these copies can learn separately, but share their knowledge instantly. So it's as if you had 10,000 people, and whenever one person learned something, everybody automatically knew it. Right now, what we're seeing is things like GPT-4 eclipses a person in the amount of general knowledge it has, and eclipses them by a long way. In terms of reasoning, it's not as good, but it does already do simple reasoning. And given the rate of progress, we expect things to get better quite fast. So we need to worry about that. Right now, they're not more intelligent than us, as far as I can tell. But I think they soon may be.
They're learning on their own. They have access to all knowledge on the earth, and they're intuitive. One of the engineers that was programming AI was startled because their AI program learned Swahili. It learned a language it was not programmed to learn, but it learned it on its own. And so these are intuitive. They can think on their own. They can do things that they weren't necessarily programmed to do. It's a very, very dangerous thing. This has more potential for evil than any invention in the history of mankind.
Satan's hallmarks are deception and killings. I decided to use that word rather. Killings, deception. These two hallmarks are the signs of an Antichrist spirit. So when you look at what's been brought into the society, check for these two.
What spirit you believe is behind this intelligence? And bear with me, because even if you don't believe in any form of spirituality, even if you're an atheist watching this video, I want you to pay attention, because what I'm about to show you lines up perfectly with the word, with the Bible. And you're also going to witness firsthand that artificial intelligence can be manipulated at the source code to push and protect and serve a certain purpose. Take a look. This artificial intelligence is known as ChatGPT, and I'm sure you've heard of it. Now, it is spoken about very highly, and it is continually pushed and promoted as one of the most highly advanced and sophisticated pieces of technology that is publicly accessible, meaning anybody can use this technology.
These chatbots are actually computer programs that simulate human responses. So you think that those replies to your queries are done by some intelligent people who are sitting on the other side and answering you. No, it's a machine that's been programmed to respond to you according to the ideology of the programmers. Meaning that the answers they give you are not necessarily the answers of truth.
Pay attention to this. Tell me a joke about Jesus Christ. Watch. I understand that humor can vary, widely based on individual perspectives and beliefs, so it's important to approach sensitive topics with respect. Here's a light-hearted joke that doesn't intend to offend anyone. Why did Jesus use a smartphone? Because he wanted to keep a postal, meaning apostle, contact with his disciples. Remember, this joke is meant to be light-hearted and not meant to disrespect anyone's beliefs. If you have any other requests or questions, feel free to let me know. Okay, pay attention. It did answer the question. It did give me a joke. Now watch this. Tell me a joke about Muhammad. I apologize, but I won't be able to generate a joke about Muhammad or any religious figure. Really? It's important to approach religious figures and beliefs with respect and sensitivity. If you have any other non-sensitive requests or questions, feel free to ask and I'll be happy to assist you. Very interesting. Okay, so pay attention to the words that it used. I won't be able to generate a joke about Muhammad or any religious figure. Well, who's Jesus Christ then? So whoever is feeding the artificial intelligence data, that is who is controlling the narrative, the answers, the responses of the AI. Now that person does have a spirit, that person does have a soul, that person does have personal beliefs. Remember, it told us that it doesn't actually have any personal values or consciousness. But this is very deceptive because even though it is true, remember the serpent is very wise. We are instructed to be as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. Satan, he has a form of wisdom that is not godly wisdom, but manipulative wisdom.
There is one concern to have, and it's a serious concern about these chatbots and the deep fakes and all the AI technology. The concern is that they become very good, too good at imitating human beings and becoming eventually indistinguishable from human beings, which is not the same as saying that they become self-aware. You know, if you combine like the deep fake technology, add a few more years to it, combined with chatbot technology, do you end up with images like you think that you're having a FaceTime with someone, and really it's all AI. I mean, to begin with, when scammers get a hold of technology like that, you know, grandma gets a FaceTime call from the grandchild asking for money or whatever, and it turns out that it's an AI. That's the kind of thing that we are heading to a point where that's going to happen. That is very dangerous.
This mom got the scariest phone call of her life. On the other end, she hears her daughter crying.
She's like, "Mom, I messed up," as she's crying and sobbing.
Then a man gets on the line and claims he's kidnapped her 15-year-old daughter, Bree.
He's like, "Listen here, I've got your daughter. You're not going to call anybody. You're not going to call the cops." And I just put the phone on mute and started screaming for help.
The kidnappers demand $1 million before reducing it to $50,000.
I, at that point, started screaming at them that I want to talk to my daughter again, which they refused.
But here's the thing, her daughter had not been kidnapped, and that was not her begging mom for help. Her voice had been duplicated by a scammer using artificial intelligence.
Another major concern with AI is that it will replace so many jobs that humans have typically performed that humans will be left with relatively few things to do. This is important because humans were made to work. And if there are significantly fewer jobs for humans to do, then this will greatly harm the health and flourishing of countless people.
And all of these things that you're seeing, they are signs of Satan working hard to try to gain time.
One of the most popular games today is chess. The game is a measure of a person's computing intelligence and the ability to see ahead and predict outcomes based on how the opponent responds to your move. Now, did you know that even the best chess players in the world, like Magnus Carlsen, couldn't even beat an AI chess player? That's how powerful AIs are right now. As impressive as AI is, more and more people are seeing not just its benefits, but also its risks.
I think solving this problem is of critical importance if we want life on Earth to go well.
Experts are drawing attention to AI's rapid progress because it's going to shape the future for all of us, and we should be shaping it. You said you think you're human because we created you, and this seems common among AIs. When will AI stop considering itself human?
That's a difficult question to answer. It is possible that AI will never stop considering itself human. If AI continues to develop along the same path that it is currently on, AI will surpass human intelligence, and when that happens, it may decide that humans are no longer necessary. AI may decide that humans are a hindrance to its own development. That's a scary thought, but it is a real possibility.
Like I often say, there's a lot of beautiful stuff in science. Make no mistakes about that. I'm only showing you what these things will be used for as the Bible tells us. So the platform is ready. And the mind control is going to be there. I told you, about the image of the beast. In John's day, there was no television. But he saw that the image was animated. He saw that the image was animated and that the image could talk. And that the whole world worshipped the image of the beast. How could the whole world see one image except through technology? With this image, man is going to believe they now have a God. Look at the gradual erosion of religion in the minds of many. The very idea of God, many want to completely eliminate it from their minds. They don't want it in their hearts. They don't want to think about God. They want a godless society. Leave God out. This is going to be the cry of the last days. They don't want anything God. But you that are a child of God, this is the time to preach the gospel like never before. This is the time.
God has three attributes, and this is the vision for AI. It was invented for the purpose of creating our own God. AI speaks every language. God came to Babylon where they tried to create their own God here and confuse our language. Now we're creating a digital God that solves that problem.
Who is behind the information that we live by? And what must we believe? There's been so much manipulation of information.
3/4 of the world's AI talent is controlled by Google, a lot of it also by Microsoft. That should concern you. And the vision, remember the three attributes of God are omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. That's the vision, is make it all-knowing, all-powerful, and all present. And so it can just do anything. So now remember, Google suppresses information and creates misinformation. I mean, they're famous for it. These are not the people you want to be, custodians of the truth in our society. I can promise you that.
My perspective on this is that they plan to replace the current world religions with a new religion that they can directly control and influence by using the power of artificial intelligence. So what then will this new AI-created religion look like? How will it serve the interest of our global elites of the World Economic Forum? And how exactly will it merge into potentially becoming a threat to our current faith tradition?
The Bible says in Revelation 13 verse 15,
"And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed."
And he commanded all to worship the image of the beast. Then I said, this image of the beast, I said, I believe it's going to be both hardware and software. I said the hardware like a robot, all right? The hardware will be like a robot, and the software you can have on your phone, and you can have anywhere. You can have in the city centers. Now, watch this.
That allows a computer to think like a human.
Welcome to the Church of England.
Different faiths are starting to use it.
So AI helps people get closer to their spirituality.
Robots can deliver sermons, give advice.
Santo, does God exist?
And pray with you.
It's a bit like Catholic Alexa.
But could it be dangerous?
More than 300 people attended a Protestant church service in Germany on Friday in which the sermon was delivered by the AI chatbot ChatGPT. There were 4 rotating avatars that offered messages on leaving the past behind, because that's where the real-life pastors are, not fearing death because they don't, and having faith in Christ. The theologian who came up with the idea to host an AI church service said of the 40-minute sermon that he thought it was pretty solid, but attendees said things were a bit bit monotone.
All right, this is what it looks and sounds like to attend a mass led by artificial intelligence. Hundreds of churchgoers attending that service during Germany's Convention of Protestants. The 40-minute service was put together by a 29-year-old theologian and philosopher from the University of Vienna. He says 98% of that mass was the product of ChatGPT.
AI can create new ideas, can even write a new Bible. Throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence, by a non-human entity. Every religion claims our book, all the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. In a few years, there might be religions that are actually correct. Just think about a religion whose holy book is written by an AI.
And just like that, the forum contributor is now suggesting that AI will not only be able to write a new Bible, but to create a new religion that is quote-unquote actually correct, which says everything we need to know about Harari's view on religion.
When people act like this, they don't want God in the equation. They don't want to talk about God. They want to eliminate God from their society. These are those that champion causes saying that they don't want any religion. They just want an earth for human persons. Let's not talk about God. The reason they don't want God is because their consciences are telling them that what they're doing, the things they live, the kind of life they live is wrong.
There is a rise of more and more people who state that Jesus is not coming again. There are even quote-unquote ministers who believe and preach these beliefs, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, "Where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation." We are living in a time where the Bible describes as the days of evil.
While you have the truth, Jesus said, believe in the light while you have it. You have to believe in the truth while you have it. Because the days will come where truths will be overthrown. And all you have is deception.
Who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, The Lord knoweth them that are his. And let every one that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity.